Computers are pretty intelligent things. They're incredibly good at doing computational tasks, things like maths and repeated processing, but where they've been improving recently is actually being creative. Now I say creative with a pinch of salt. You essentially feed it information, it then takes that information and searches the internet for all sorts of different relevant information, it then runs that through a bunch of algorithms, and then it essentially expands upon the information that you fed it. So for example, I recently watched a video by Corridor Digital where they fed the AI the original script to Avatar, and the AI generated a sequel. And I was watching a video by Tom Scott where he took the new GPT-3 AI, he fed it all of his video titles, and then it generated a bunch of new video titles, and some of them were pretty good. And that is when I came up with a bit of an idea. I occasionally get you guys to send me silly redstone ideas that I then build for your entertainment. What if I take some of the silly ideas that have actually made it into videos, feed it into an AI, and see if an AI can start generating me silly redstone ideas that I will then build for your entertainment. Cue the sci-fi hacking music. So here goes nothing. I'm using GPT-2 for my AI because I don't have access to GPT-3, and I'm just going to take these ideas here and I'm going to feed them in. So a machine that throws items to another machine which catches them and throws them back. I am going to do a little bit of simplifying of some of the ideas just to make it easier for the AI to understand, but this right here should be the final one. So when we hit submit, we should now get some ideas. So, okay, that's maybe not the best of starts. So it will list what I've put in, and then this is the new bit. And the new bit isn't... That doesn't make any sense. I mean, whoever the puzzle axe is, the AI has found you. You've been targeted. I mean, now I'm just incredibly curious. I need to look up if we can find the puzzle axe. Has the puzzle axe been AI generated? Is there such thing as the puzzle axe? There's never been somebody called the puzzle axe. That's kind of weird. Anyway, I'm getting distracted here. Oh! Yes! Yes! We actually have things that look like ideas! What makes you feel most uncomfortable is that you will find yourself walking through your surroundings, a machine that is able to produce you with food, but it does not contain you. A machine that is unable to produce meat without leaving water? What? A machine that will cause you to vomit in a matter of seconds. It seems to be focusing on the machine. There's a lot of machines in here. A machine that will blow up the sky like you get it from an empty water bowl. The machine just spins around for a few yards. It doesn't make that much noise when you step on it. I like that idea a lot. Here is a montage of the many different whats I said when I generated all these ideas. What? What on earth? What is an automaton? What? Whoa, 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 whoa. What is this? Brad Robot Master 1x1. What? Oh, what? That needs to be censored. Whoa, what? Okay, I think that's enough ideas and enough whats for one day. So now comes the really interesting bit where I convert those AI generated ideas into actual Minecraft builds. Bacon rises. Now I wonder if my idea for how this is going to work is actually going to function or if it's totally going to flop. Okay, so the pig goes in here. Now if I'm in survival mode, I mean, what happens? Does the pig get hit by the levitation potion? I can't believe that actually worked. Alright, let's make this a tiny bit more sophisticated by increasing the quantity of bacon. So now as soon as one piece of bacon has been risen, then another piece of bacon will appear in its place. And as you can see, this seems to be working absolutely flawlessly, and it's definitely one of the stupidest things I've built in a long time. Oh, ignore the death. Crazy and creepy inflatables that create massive amounts of energy that can travel through a wall to the outside. There's an awful lot for us to unpack here. This guy was meant to end up looking crazy and creepy, but he's ended up looking really, really cool. So I guess this is, I mean, the crazy and creepy, but actually secretly awesome pool floaty. Now it just needs to create massive amounts of energy. Not sure how it's going to do that. Maybe through just sheer squeaking alone? And how on earth is it going to travel through a wall to the outside? I think I've come up with a pretty good idea. The only thing is I'm slightly shifting the definition of wall to also including roof. So here is our crazy and creepy ball floaty inside of his little dungeon. And underneath we're going to have a bunch of flying machines that will launch him out. Let's see if this whole plan actually comes together. It didn't, but fear not. Backups have been made. Here goes our crazy creepy inflatable that generates massive amounts of energy before traveling through a wall to the outside. There is the massive amounts of energy. And there it is, traveling through a wall to the outside. It actually did it. Our crazy creepy inflatable is now entering orbit and looking incredibly graceful as it does. Automatic door-mounted doors. Now, how on earth am I meant to do this? Door-mounted doors. I mean, I guess trapdoors? Trapdoors can be moved by pistons, and they are, the word door is in it. We can mount trapdoors to piston doors. Yeah, I mean, I've come up with something here. It's kind of like a weird 4x4 vault door. So if we power these trapdoors here, that will close up the central door. So then we basically have a door within a door. The AI's actually come up with a really interesting idea there. So this is our first automatic door. You can see that the iron trapdoors in the center of our piston door open up. And then we've got a pulse extender, which keeps them open for a certain length of time. And they close out of sync, which is really annoying. Yeah, I'm gonna quickly fix that. But now I also have our outside door in place. So if I walk over these pressure plates, then that allows me to travel through the first section of the door, albeit a little bit slowly. Now, if I want to open up both sets of doors, then I can walk over these pressure plates and I can hit this button right here, and that opens up the full 4x4 system. And it all looks very fancy. Oh, and I'm sure most of you are wondering if I can open up only the big door and not have to worry about opening up the middle door. Yes, I have thought of that, and that all works properly as well. As far as AI-generated ideas go, this one's pretty fancy. I believe a machine that actually makes a sound would be an invention because they make a sound of something that's in reality, just like what a human would make a sound like. That is a quote from Shrek, apparently. I'm not going to build anything off the back of this. I just find it very funny that the AI assigned a random quote that it generated itself to Shrek. Automatic walking machine. This machine is really nice. Well, I definitely think we can do something about that. But we just have to remember that the machine has to be nice. I have to somehow signify the machine both walking and being nice at the same time. I think I have a good idea, but first, the walking bit. So I've got my two little legs, which I have to say are looking adorable, and if I just move these redstone blocks, you can see that they're stomping along. Now I just have to build up the flying machine, which will keep them automatically stomping along, and I'm trying my best to do this in a way that is quite small. I want this machine to be quite tiny, and it's giving me many headaches. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I've stood here staring at this thing for about 20 minutes. Now, I would be absolutely amazed if this works. Like, baffled. Completely baffled. I would hang up my redstone hat because I would have peeked. Alright, that's how serious this is. And I mean, the actual flying machine itself does work. It just didn't bring the legs along with it. I'm still kind of baffled a little bit. But things have gone wrong. I think the only issue is it was just slightly too fast. The legs actually couldn't keep up with the speed of the waist. So I've added a few extra bits, and if this one works once again, I will be baffled beyond belief. Well, at least the universal balance is in check. What on earth has happened here then? Much stress and confusion later. Come on, I really hope this is the one because this one is symmetrical and that's really cool. Much more stressing later. This is like the 14th try. I've essentially given up at this point. I don't even have hope. But, yes! It's actually working! I can't believe it. Okay, so we have a little walking machine, and it's tiny. Now the question is, does the fact that this is such a nice walking machine, like this is really nice. This is probably the best walking machine I've made in terms of its scale. I mean, look at it. It's only 4 blocks wide. Automatic walking machine. This machine is really nice. I would say we've passed that. This machine is really nice. Okay, moving on. A machine that tells you everything you need to know about the world of Ellen. Now here's the thing, all right? I don't know much about the world of Ellen. So I've come up with an idea that I think will give us information about the world of Ellen. I think you can probably see where this is going. So the world of Ellen is a terrifying and dark place. I'm just going to get started on this. I'm going to do like one paragraph and then I'll see where the AI takes it. Why am I thinking about this so much? I'm acting as if I'm writing a book here. 3 months later, I think the first draft is finally done. The world of Ellen is a terrifying and dark place, covered in sparse vegetation, eking a meagre existence out of the harsh environment. So battered by strong winds and constant dust storms, all but the hardiest of organisms can survive. And yet here they were, the Balboa tribe, a nomadic community of hunter-gatherers whose war cry of Eye of the Tiger can be heard above the screeching winds. It was time to hunt. And here is our redstone machine that will tell us everything there is to know about the world of Ellen. Now remember, we've got the Balboa tribe, and they're doing their war cries, they're just about to go for a hunt. So here goes. In some ways, these men are a little different from the rest of the villagers. They're hardy and tough too. Hunting is a tough, high-skilled occupation that requires skill of every human in the community, and it is very hazardous to walk across the land. This is not a bad start. I'm interested. But when one of them's buddies shows up, okay, it's dropped off a little bit, at his place to pick him up, he does a lot more than let them hurt themselves. Alright. He's there to assist him, whether it's getting some of the most beautiful flowers down here, getting some of the best out of his family at his farm, picking from trees to cleanse his hair and his mouth, or helping him grow some of these things himself. I don't know where this is going. And it's all part of a wonderful story of love, compassion, and the most difficult jobs in the world. One of the hardest things about this job is that it takes so little time. It just takes an extra time. What? It's what gets the whole group together, and what really gets us together and gets us through a few tough days, right? It's like it doesn't even know what it's saying. So what we do is we start with some knowledge, go through the forest and check out the trees, as well as check some of the weeds, make sure they have a little water and clean them up, and they will just have some life back home, as well as get used to the harsh weather and the cold and the heat and the storms that come with it. Well, I don't know about you, but I foresee a 12-part series on everything there is to know about the world of Ellen, because I must admit I'm more confused about the world of Ellen than I was when I started. All jokes aside, I know we're kind of taking the mick out of this thing a little bit, but I am ridiculously impressed. I mean, there's no denying this is impressive. Like, it's a tiny bit clunky, but the fact that a computer has generated original things that have never existed before, it is weird. And I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to coming up with silly redstone ideas, the AI is better than most of you. Like, I put out the request for silly redstone ideas, and there's a lot of rubbish that comes in, alright? The hit rate of the AI was far better than the hit rate of humans. You know, I put out the tweet requesting silly redstone ideas to my YouTube members and to Twitter. I get thousands of responses and I whittle it down to 10. Alright, I did like 5 generations of AI silly redstone ideas. I ended up with 27 possibilities. So you guys need to up your game. Otherwise the computers really will take over. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with a message that was generated by the AI when I was looking for silly redstone ideas. It says, "This AI decides the way to do things, and has to find you to do it. Sometimes it will do so much more than you." Honestly, I don't know what to think about that. When it said that, I got scared, but then it followed up with cockpits, not just balls, and I realised that we're probably fine.